once again. We are back at it with Stars of Destiny podcast episode. I believe we're episode number 5. Are we at 5 now? Oh, not 5. Sorry.
Oh, we're past 5.
I'm my age. I'm sorry. Not 8.
It's
We're
like
8.
episode not 8 or 9.
8 or 9. We're 8 or 9.
I don't remember anymore.
Yeah, I can't remember anymore. Actually, let me just confirm. I apologize. My birthday's coming up, so I'm like, I'm already feeling the memories being lost on me. But yeah, okay, episode number 8. So we are recording episode number 8 for the Stars of Destiny podcast. Your Suikoden and Eiyuden Chronicle podcast. Happy to be here. My name is Marco Flores with Nerd in the Bay. Over at the other side, we have Luca Blight. Luca, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing all right. Hey, we got some great response from the last episode, and this episode that we're recording now. I just asked, like, hey, you guys want us to talk about anything? Just let us know. So I hit up all the the usual groups that are talking about Suikoden, and you guys came out in droves, and it surprised us, honestly. I was like, oh wow, there's a lot of stuff they want us to talk about. So really happy that we're going to be doing basically like a fan podcast, questions and answers and topics and all that stuff. But we're also going to be highlighting some content creators and also some places that are discussing Suikoden and Eiyuden Chronicle daily on Facebook, Discord, where else, Reddit, all that stuff. So we're going to be diving into that sort of thing. But first off, we're going to start with Luca Blight's Discord. There was a question that was asked by Rena Dream. We're going to jump right in right away. So the podcast question is asking, what other types of games do you recommend that gives off a similar Suikoden vibes? So this kind of question is brought up from time to time. I often see it on the Facebook groups and also Reddit. And yeah, people are asking what other games are Suikoden like, and maybe in terms of recruiting characters or maybe building up your headquarters, and it's all these characters are doing their own thing, or maybe mini games, or maybe even the leveling and fighting system. I know Ni no Kuni 2 is often mentioned about being a Suikoden like, and maybe if you played Ni no Kuni 2 and then you heard about Suikoden, maybe you're coming from Ni no Kuni 2. It's like, oh, what's the deal about Suikoden? I often hear about Ni no Kuni 2. Luca, did you hear about any games that kind of give off the same vibe of a Suikoden like?
I've heard some people say certain things, and when I check into the game, it's not really. There's one or two similarities in a minor way that most JRPGs do.
Mm-hmm.
My problem with this is, this is a boring answer, but there is none. Suikoden is so unique that's why it's so exciting to have around. And Eiyuden Chronicle is going to be the only thing that's actually like Suikoden, because it's by the same creators and they're purposely doing this as a successor. But the boring answer on my behalf is there is none.
Wow.
Suikoden is what it is.
One of a kind.
Suikoden is the gem. Okay, that is why so many people love this series the way it does. It's just because it's one of a kind. It is what it is.
Okay.
There's no other JRPG that is like it.
Nice response. You'll definitely get some brownie points from the loyalists out there. For me, I was looking around, and again, like I said, I often kind of see this question pop up here and there, and I mentioned about Ni no Kuni 2. I guess being like a Suikoden, I guess maybe the amount of characters that you're able to recruit in that sort of way. I mean, Chrono Cross, you're able to do the same thing, but it's not the same at the same time. There's a lot of characters that you can recruit, but it's like one continuous RPG adventure with a group. You just pick your people.
Chrono Cross, the characters are so generic and bland, and I know there is characters like that in Suikoden, but in Chrono Cross, I found there was 5 characters worthy of talking about. The rest were just kind of there.
Okay.
Whether they're just they're strong characters, right?
Yeah.
But they were just kind of there, and they didn't have the continuation of the story like some other characters did. You wouldn't expect Futch to become what he was in Suikoden 3, that kind of thing.
Okay.
It, like I said, it's so different, right? You didn't have a character in Chrono Trigger come over to Chrono Cross and become some outstanding character, right? You didn't have that, where you have in in Suikoden 1 to 2 to 3, you see the transformation of Futch as he grows. And
yeah,
so cool.
That's true. That's true.
That's just why I'm kind of on that side of the fence of,
Yeah.
And the only thing that's like Chrono Cross is just there's a lot of characters.
There's a lot of characters, yeah. And even when that correlation of trigger to cross, like the old cast, you saw them as kids. Like it's a little spoilerish, but like you see them as kids, and they're talking about the same thing that they dealt with in Trigger. So, like I'll mention some games that people have mentioned. Some say Ogre Battle. I don't know what the correlation is from there for the SNES or the PS1. Exit Fate is a indie game, basically. It was made by a person who loves Suikoden, so kind of the same, like maybe same style, maybe same battles and that sort of thing. Let me see. Yeah, some people said Ogre Battle. Some people say Last Remnant for PS3, Xbox 360. Let's see who else. This was I guess asked like 3 months ago, so I'm saying on Suikoden Reddit. Ogre Battle, Exit Fates, Radiata Stories. Again, a lot of characters, but you only have like 3 at a time, I believe, if I'm remembering right. Let me see. Yeah, more Exit Fates. Exit Fate, yeah, it was made by somebody that that loved Suikoden, and they just wanted to make their own Suikoden type game. So it's kind of scratching that itch a little bit, but maybe it's probably like a lot of the similar systems and maybe character types that you're seeing in that type of game. Let me see. I see Trails of Sky series. I don't know if that's anything that kind of relates in a way. Skies of Arcadia is being mentioned. Valkyria Chronicles. Yeah, there's a lot of characters there, but there's not so much of like having a castle and then everybody's like doing their thing, whether they're drinking at the bar or that sort of thing. It's just everybody's enlisted into the army, right? And then everybody has particular abilities and equipment setups and stuff like that. Alliance Alive, made by Murayama, so like maybe you'll see some similarities from Alliance Alive to Suikoden, maybe in the battle system. I've yet to play Alliance Alive. Have you played Alliance Alive, Luca?
I have not.
No. So maybe there's similarities there, or maybe he tried to do a little bit of a departure from Suikoden, just to just get his name out there some more. Let me see anybody else responded with something different. Grandia is mentioned. I don't know if that's the same. It's definitely an adventure. It's a long adventure if you put your time in. Chrono Cross was just mentioned. Yeah, Valkyria Profile is also mentioned. Grove Lancer is being mentioned because I guess the political aspect from this, from Suikoden, like I guess at least from 1 and 5, I would think. But yeah, they mentioned Grow Lancer.
Right. You can draw small similarities to it.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for a game that's going to have the same aspect of Suikoden, you're not going to find it.
Yeah.
Right. Suikoden brings it all together. Right. You have the RPG aspect of it. You have the politics. You have the story and the world building, and then you have the army battles. You have your own custom castle.
Yeah.
That stuff. If you're looking to find something that is going to be similar to all of that, literally you have to wait for you.
Basically.
That's just my take.
Basically. Let's see. Somebody mentioned Breath of Fire because of the town building. Let's see. Yeah, Radiata Stories for the recruitment factor. Let's see. Tactics, I guess, but they're not the people you're enlisting are not stars. It's just like soldiers and enlisting people and that sort of thing. But nobody's having a particular story with those characters except for the main characters, basically. Let's see. I guess that's it. I guess that's all that was mentioned. I think that was all that was mentioned in terms of like Suikoden likes. Like Lucas said, like if you want everything that came with Suikoden, it's very, very tough to find another game that's like that. You see some aspects from different games, the recruitment factor, maybe the battle system, maybe the having a castle and having all your people in there, but none, I would say, that has that like all those things that Suikoden has. So that's pretty difficult to find, if anything, unless somebody, again, like Exit Fate, basically loved Suikoden and made their own Suikoden, and maybe maybe balanced it out, or maybe updated, or maybe try to make it better than the original system was. I mean, there's developers out there that's wanting to make a better type of game of the game that they love, right? For like either balancing reasons, or like maybe trying to flesh out more story. But yeah, that's a good starting question from Rena Dream. Thank you. And that came from Luca Blight's Discord. So I'll definitely link that on the description below of this video, or on the podcast, on the information on the audio end. So thank you for Rena Dream for that question. Let me see. So something actually. So let's see. This question, or this topic. This is actually going to be a separate episode, maybe down the line. But I just want to just mention that they want us to talk about Vicky and Jean, and what their either relationship, or like what's going on with that story, if we were able to flesh it out. But we're not going to dive into that. We're going to actually, that's going to be a separate episode, because I guess there's a lot that you can dive into when it comes
there's a lot with those two characters.
Yeah, with those two characters,
especially Jean.
Yeah. Jean and Vicky, and then let's see. Yeah, this came from Price, and I'm not mentioning full names just for privacy reasons. And this is coming from like social media, Facebook and yeah, basically Facebook and whoever with all those actual names and stuff like that. So yeah, this came from Price. He wanted to dive into the Vicky and Jean story. Someone was asking, does that could include Iresh, like in. They said, yeah, it should, because I guess Iresh is kind of in that same mold in a sense. But we'll save that for another time. But I just do want to acknowledge that we have your question, that we're just going to save it for another episode. So look forward to that. Luca, did you have the questions in front of you as well, or the topics in front of you? Go ahead and pick one, and we'll go from there.
All right. Are you the kill craze type of guy, or get out of my sight type of guy?
Oh, man.
Well, I mean, you guys all know I'm killing. It's that simple. He's dead before the prompt even comes. Okay, before that guy even gets on the screen, he's writing his death will out, because it's already happened.
Yeah,
that dude's dead. Okay, so.
Okay.
So I don't think it's a question for me. I think that's a question for you, because everybody knows I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah, I have no doubt you are 10 for 10 going to kill him. All right, from me. Okay. I have actually played with both ends, right? Some playthroughs I've done like straight up kill him. One other playthrough I was like, let him go. And I actually when I did that, I didn't feel right afterwards, because he just ran away and you just never saw him again. I was like, oh no, man, screw him, man. Like, because he was leading up to that, he was doing some vile stuff, and he was going to do some vile stuff with LaPonte's wife, Eileen. So, seeing that and witnessing that, if we were like, say, the main character, McDowell and and crew, wasn't going to be there to stop it, you could like almost imagine what was happening behind those closed doors. He might have already, and Eileen maybe like kind of suppressed that.
It's his fault Ted's dead. It's his fault Ted's dead.
Yeah,
between
exactly,
him and
exactly, right.
Those two are so corrupt; it's in their very soul.
Yes,
those guys aren't being saved. And Kenan proved that at the end of the game, where he got arrested later. Anyway.
Yeah.
Because he was just kept trying to do his old crap of just taking advantage of people and hurting them, getting people killed. There's no redemption for those two. Kill them. That's the only way you're gonna stop these two from being able to do what they do, and they're just terrible people. They haven't tried to think of one positive thing that those two guys did.
I'm thinking. All right, I'm listening to you, and I totally agree with you. I'm just listening and thinking and hearing about Luca Blight saying like they're irredeemable, and it's Luca Blight that's telling me that they're irredeemable. Die Pigs is telling me that Craze is irredeemable. So like that just goes to show how
he's the worst type.
He's the worst type
of person, because he uses his position to hide behind it, right? He's a coward.
Selfish means.
At least Luca Blight dies with honor,
being a psycho.
Looks at you, and refuses to run away.
Yeah.
And tells his own men to stay out of his fight. Craze is trying to hide and run, and
being a coward,
get other people killed for him. Same with Kenan. Screw both those guys.
Yeah, I don't even know how
cowards.
How you know how they even like got into the Scarlet Moon Empire? I mean, yeah, I can't
because the Scarlet Moon Empire was corrupt by then.
Yeah, I guess so. But like, I mean, if Emperor Barboza,
come from money.
Yeah, if Emperor Barboza like audited that, the Empire from head to toe, and yeah, they would not be enlisted. They would not be in the Scarlet Moon Empire. I'm just saying, with the people that they had, with Kwanda,
it's Wendy's fault, basically.
It is Wendy's fault. It basically comes down to it's Wendy's fault. Blame Wendy, basically. Oh, cool. All right, right on. Oh, here's another one. Okay, I think we talked about this before too, like just here and there. So Daniel commented, "I want to know why no one wants Stallion to be a true rune holder. It's canon in 2 games. I don't care what that one creator said." Okay, so that already answers your own comment. The creator,
what am I thinking?
The creator mentioned that Stallion does not have a true rune holder. It was a translation mishap. What was the actual translation of it? Do you know off the top of your head?
I can't remember exactly. It's something about just like the speed rune. It just translates to speed.
Yeah.
Right. They're very fast. And so the real question for me, Daniel, is why do you want him to have a true rune so badly?
Yeah.
Because it is not a true rune. It's not canon. And you answered your own question. The game creator stated it. It's a translation error. He does not have a true rune. Why do you want him to be? That is the real question, and I think only you can answer that, Daniel.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, sorry to say that we don't believe, even though the creator says that Stallion's not a true rune person. Isn't it like, wasn't it translated to like Godspeed rune or something like that? Or
yeah, it's something like that, because like later on they fix it.
Yeah, right. So I mean, he was in the games, 1 and 2. He wasn't in 3, right? He wasn't in 3. And that already shows, like, hey, yeah, if he was around, then he would be...
Well, here's the thing. If he was a true rune holder, do you really think that Wendy wouldn't have went after him?
Exactly, yeah. Exactly.
Right. He would have been dead.
Stallion would have been on the radar of Wendy.
He can run fast, she can teleport.
And Hikusak, and whoever's, trying to get runes at that time.
Stallion's not tough. They would have killed him. Yeah. They would have took his rune if it was actually a true
rune. He's the Flash, but not with like.
So, if you are a fan of Stallion, you should be happy he doesn't have a true rune, because he definitely would have died.
Yeah, he would have already. He would have, even as fast as he is. Stallion is like the Flash, but not without the heroics. Sure, like
he's a coward.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a Yajirobe. He'll show some heroics when it comes down to it, but like not all the time. Yeah. We'll go from there.
Mostly if there's food involved, right?
Yeah, right. There's food involved, and you need to race him to just recruit him and stuff. Okay. Let me see. You want to throw one out there?
Yeah, I got a couple from my stream.
So go for it. Go for it.
So I'm gonna save the really good one.
Okay.
So we're gonna start. This one is to both of us from Kadaz95. He's constantly on my stream, and
nice.
He's a really good guy. He wants to know what our Suikoden 6 would be like, where and when it would be.
Ooh.
So I guess I'll start.
Okay.
A lot of people, I know you're going to want me to say Harmonia. I know you're going to want me to, and I'm going to disappoint the hell out of you. It's not. I want more build-up before Harmonia. Right? I don't want to skip right to Harmonia, right? Especially after this long of a layoff from Suikoden.
Yeah.
I would like, quite honestly, because of the amount of build-up that happened in Suikoden 5 about it, New Armus Kingdom. I would love to have, see all the tribes, war with each other, and then finally come out, someone come out on top. And I would love to see returning characters from Suikoden 5.
Yeah.
We didn't get we didn't get any of that. It would have been fantastic to see Belkut again.
Yeah.
Or even Richard, or the the Limworm mercenaries, Zagai going back home. That would be fantastic. Any of these characters, if they came back, I would love it. And New Armus Kingdom relates more to Jean because of the history she has with the ancient Armus Kingdom, so that would be even more lore for me to do with this before the Sindarian race was even there. There's a lot of stuff to that game, that time period, so it would be New Armus Kingdom around the same time as Suikoden 1.
Okay.
And the reason why, that gives us a chance to actually have, say, Prince Fraser back in the game if you really wanted him. Kind of like we had Tyr in Suikoden 2 from Suikoden 1. We could get George back.
Yeah.
You could get that in there. There's a lot of stuff you could tie in there from Suikoden 5 if you keep it in that time period. And it would be nice if there was a true rune, a real true rune that surfaced in that area that was not the Sun Rune.
Nice.
So that's mine. What
I like that. So, okay, my Suikoden 6, it would not lead up to the end of, like, going to Harmonia and all the, all the true rune people, like, gathering up, and, you see Tyr, you see Rio, you see, all the main character people. You see Thomas for whatever reason, because he's a star.
No Thomas.
I wouldn't mind Thomas, personally. So for me, a Suikoden 6 would probably be about the rise of the Scarlet Moon Empire. So you're actually being Barboza in this, and then you're recruiting, like, Tio, and you're recruiting Kawanda, and you're going through those battles, and you're fighting, Geiger. Who's that? The current Rugner, the person that was there before. I would love to see that, because then you would kind of see, like, where Gremio.
Well, they're both Rugners. It was.
Oh, they're okay. Oh, okay, it was a succession, right?
Right, Barboza Rugner.
Okay.
I think it was his brother, cousin, something like that.
Okay, yeah, okay. So there was a succession war to it then.
Yep.
So yeah, so you would see, like, the the coming ups of, like, Gremio, where he came from. You seen Pawn. I guess Pawn was a soldier for Rugner, wasn't he? And then
Well, he was always Tio's guy.
He was always Tio's guy? Okay, I thought I read somewhere where...
I mean, he would have fought under Barboza for sure, because he's fighting under Tio. Okay. I'm not sure if he even actually took place in the War of Succession. They might have not been there quite yet.
Okay.
But regardless, you would see George Prime, because that's where he got the nickname Deathblow George.
He'd be a general by then.
That war.
Yeah.
So you would have saw the return of the dragons. You would have saw... Humphrey fought for Barboza at that time.
Yeah.
But you would have had a lot of others on the other side, and you would have had, you know what, to add to that? It'd be really cool to pick a side.
Right. Yeah, as we were talking about Eiyuden picking that side. Yeah, that'd be crazy. That would be crazy.
History.
Yeah.
Ooh. Maybe just like a New Game Plus or something.
Yeah, New Game Plus. I'm feeling some Mortal Kombat 9 vibes, like he must win, and just a whole different timeline happens. But that's what I would love to see, is just seeing the how the War of Succession happened, and, like, just seeing all the old characters, but you're seeing them coming up, like Street Fighter Alpha style. Pawn, Cleo, just everybody that was there. During the War of Succession, and just seeing how those events unfold, and then maybe, like, at the end you see, like, a little baby Tyr and Gremio kind of, like, taking care of him, and then Tio finding Ted, and you just seeing those story beats happening, and, like, that would be awesome.
I would love for the end to be the Battle of Kaleka.
Ooh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, seeing Humphrey, like,
lots
just
of drama to end.
Yeah,
Humphrey go nuts, attack his own
and
commander,
then disappear.
Mathayu swear off war. Leon Silverberg, that you see that whole drama.
Odessa starting up the liberation from there. Oh man, yeah. So I would love of telling a showing of, like, the succession war.
Well, that's where everything started. Right? Yeah, that's where everything rifted for Emperor Barboza was the Battle of Kaleka. The choices they made, that was their pivotal moment in history for the Scarlet Moon Empire, was the Battle of Kaleka. Had they gone a different route, maybe. They wouldn't have fallen apart at the seams like it did. Yeah. I don't know. It would have been real interesting to see that unfold.
Yeah. And then like, at the end, you see Barboza, like, just meeting Wendy, and then, you get that going. So, there's just a lot of things that people can get reintroduced into Suikoden after all this time that's, all this time that's nothing has been happening. And then, like, oh, wow. And then just, it would be great. It would be awesome. Oh, that was a cool question. I really enjoyed that. Is there any more other questions people had for you on the stream?
Yeah, I've got one from Lenny Leonards, and he's been waiting for his answer of his question for a little while now.
Oh, okay.
And it has to do with Ellie and Rena.
Oh, okay.
So this one's quite interesting. He's like, we know Ellie and Rena were from the Grasslands, but do we know which tribe they came from? which is very interesting. Now, unfortunately, Lenny, there is not a direct answer for you, but I did some detective work for you. we try to. Unfortunately, what we have to do here is narrow it down. So we start off with their origins. Rena and Ellie are from the grasslands, like it says. They're fortune tellers, much like Piccolo is. Piccolo is a fortune teller in Suikoden 3. So Rena is a fortune teller from the grasslands, and so is their sister Ellie. Their parents actually died when they were young, because they were attacked by bandits.
Okay.
So a lot of stuff I'm about to say is going to kind of unravel a little bit for you. So after that, Rena had to raise Ellie, which is why she's more mature for her age, despite her only being a year older than Ellie.
Oh, okay, right.
So then they end up moving on to Zexen, is where they find Bolgan, who's in a circus, and he's being mistreated, and he was sold, and to do make amends for debts and this and that. Bolgan, because he's such a nice guy, he does want to erase the debts. But at the same point, he's being mistreated. So Ellie and Rena convince him to leave the circus with them, and he escapes with them, and they become this traveling circus. And of course, that's when they pick up in Suikoden 2. So, based off what we can tell by them, so if you look at them themselves on how they look, okay, I can probably safely assume they're not Karayan, right? But that being said, Jimba managed to pose as a Karayan player, so it's still in the realm of possibility. Okay? They're clearly not from the Duck Clan.
They don't look
not from the Lizard Clan.
As far as I know, right? I don't see any duck or lizard on them.
Exactly. The Alma Kinnan clan would be interesting if they were, but there's two problems here. One, they all kind of dress the same and speak the same. And the other part is they're an all-female clan, and they clearly state that Ella and Rena's parents, meaning mother and father, were killed by bandits, which would be impossible in Alma Kinnan because you cannot. I'm probably butchering the name Alma Kinnan. Regardless, it would be impossible because they're hidden behind like a magic wall. Right? You can't get to them. So that would make that one very, very, very unlikely. Okay. So that drops it to two clans, unless for some reason it was they somehow pose as a Karayan clan. But I'm going to push that out the door. I don't think it's Karayan. So that limits it to two possible clans for us here. Because the other ones are not clans anymore because they were taken over by Harmonia already, so they don't count. That was 50 years ago, right? Yeah. That is the Chisha Clan, or the Chisha Clan, whoever you want to say their name. I butcher names a lot. They're the ones I'm going to lean towards the most. Okay? And the other is the Sapphire Clan. Okay. The Sapphire Clan, which we know nothing about. All we know is they were great fighters like the Karayans, but they were wiped out completely by the Harmonians at the start of Suikoden 3. Okay. So it could be from them, but we don't know anything about them. So I'm going to have to go more towards the Chisha Clan. Or Keisha, whatever you want to call them. I believe that is where they would have originated from, due to their personality and them actually being able to have both male and female partners, not just the female partners. So, in my detective work for you, Lenny, I do believe my best guess would be the Chisha Clan or the Sapphire Clan.
Okay. I can see Chisha Clan, right? I can see it. The thing that kind of disconnects me is, I mean, they had to go on their own after that, after their parents were killed. Seeing how they dress, it does not match what Chisha, basically, their uniform outfits, basically, and it doesn't match. But maybe because they've been traveling, getting to know the world, they kind of found their own style, per se. That's the only disconnect. I can see it. That's the only disconnect I would see with Chisha Clan. Like Sapphire, as you said, don't know anything much about them. They were wiped out already by Harmonians. So it doesn't really mean that, they could be Sapphire. They could be, and maybe their parents.
I call it 50-50.
Yeah, it could be. Maybe their parents or they part of the tribe separated.
I'm going to call it 51-49. I'm 51 towards the Chisha Clan, 49% towards Sapphire. It could be either one of those, but I think we've narrowed it down pretty closely between those two clans.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, that is tough because I mean, like, I'm trying to think, like, who, like, is there anybody that was doing some fortune telling that came from a clan, or was there anybody? I had like a hypothesis, like, idea of, like, you know how they're performers, going around and performing everywhere, and maybe I was like, maybe there's like a performing clan that is out there that, of course, that wasn't like fleshed out or anything, because we have like. We have them, Ellie, Rena, and Bolgan from 2. You have Shaban, Nage, and forgetting the big nose guy. Those 3 performing as well. I was just throwing like a hypothesis out there. I mean, I have nothing.
Well, what I was hoping was to find out where Piccolo was from and try to bridge the gap there. But when you come down to where Piccolo's from, it's unknown. The only thing we know was that he was a student of Crowley. Which is fantastic on its own.
Yeah,
but
that's pretty badass.
It doesn't go anywhere from there. So that's the only thing I could do was like, Piccolo is the same as Rena and Ellie. Maybe we could find out where he's from, and maybe that could help us. It literally says unknown. So we kind of gotta have to guess.
Yeah, and it looks like the probable guess is Chisha Clan. But cool, yeah, that's a cool question. Because it gets us thinking. That's cool. Thank you for that. All right, let me go ahead and throw out another one. I'm gonna throw one from Kelvin here. He says, recently started to listen to your podcast. You guys are really fun to listen to. The characters in Suikoden feels lifelike. Usually reminds us of people we know. Do you think Murayama gets his character inspiration from his social circles? Who in Suikoden reminds you of your real life friends or famous people? That, man, like, that's for me, at least for me personally, that feels like a little bit of a stretch. I don't know. I would need to ask Murayama personally, like, if he got inspiration from all the characters that were designed from people that he knows in his social circles. Really. Well, go ahead.
Most of the characters, especially from Suikoden 1, would have been from a water margin, right?
Sure. Oh, yeah. That's true. That is true.
Probably where
inspiration
most of it came from.
Yeah.
That's probably where most of it came from.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could come from his real life. That's what a lot of like writers do. They have a lot of that kind of stuff.
Mm.
It could be. As for who in Suikoden remind me of someone in real life, maybe not like people I personally know, but I mean, Luca Blight would remind me of like Vlad the Impaler.
Oh.
Okay. Emperor Barboza reminds me of Emperor Barboza. Right?
Yeah.
Emperor Barboza of the Germanic. I guess he wasn't Germanic tribes at the time. He was the Holy German Empire, German whatever he was. He was. He held the power of most of Europe for a very long time.
Okay.
He held power over the Pope at one point or something like that.
Oh.
So he reminds me of Emperor Barboza. And Tio McDowell, I've heard a rumor of this. I've never been able to confirm it, unfortunately. But he reminds me, based on his story, of King Richard. King Richard was very known for being a great leader and a great fighter. Everyone respected him. He was a great general. He had a great cavalry.
Okay.
And guess what? He served Emperor Barboza.
Okay.
So Tio McDowell would remind me very much of certain historical characters like King Richard.
Nice.
I could go down the line for sure. With a lot of these different generals. There's a few. There's a few in there, especially with Suikoden 1, but in terms of real people that I know, no.
Yeah, real people in my friends and family sort of thing. Like I don't really see in terms of being related to Suikoden characters. Famous people I kind of see more. The ones directly ones that I kind of think of is Fusulu being kind of related. I could see it being related to Tiger Mask, the wrestler. Because he wore a tiger mask basically, and he was wrestling, and he's high flying and all that stuff, kind of cheering the crowd. Fusulu, almost the same thing, wearing a tiger mask, but he's kind of saying like, "Oh, I'm super strong," and that sort of thing. So I kind of relate to those two. Tiger Mask, the wrestler. The other one would probably for Uber in 3. Just because of his this clothing look is just like of Michael Jackson, like that screams Michael Jackson to me.
Yeah.
And that throws me off because like, why did he change from the armor and looking like a badass psycho to like Michael Jackson? But like, I guess it's saying like, oh man, Uber can wear anything and he still be a badass. Like maybe that's what they're trying to say with it. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, there's Maximilian and Sancho. They're actually literally obvious references to a book.
Oh, okay.
I can never state it correctly. I'm very bad with pronunciations. I will actually just like throw the thing right in the Discord for you.
Just say okay.
I'll let you read it off.
Okay. Throw me on the bus.
Yeah, I'm terrible at that stuff.
Oh, Don Quixote.
There we go.
Yeah.
So I'll actually copy the name that they're literally, like basically who they are, right? That's literally who they are.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
There you go.
Let's see.
I don't know if
Miguel de Cervantes. Okay.
There you go. I'm terrible with pronunciations.
It's all good.
They are directly to that.
Oh, cool.
For sure.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, if they're correlated to other like famous people or well-known people in the past, like that's news to me. In terms of majority of them, like I can see Pawn and Goku being kind of correlated because like he's always hungry and he's like they like fighting, but he does dumb mistakes at the same time. I could see that. Yeah, but
morally, I think they're very different though.
Yeah, morally they're way different because Goku just wants like a good fight and Pawn is like I want to do things right but I don't want to cause trouble.
Betrays friends.
I don't think so too. But he'll challenge. He'll put the universe at stake for a good fight. That's what I'll say.
That's true.
I'll definitely can't say that. But cool. That was a cool question from Kelvin. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Do you have any on your end, Luca?
That's all on my behalf.
That's all on your end? Okay. All right. So let me see. I have one from David with the E, saying that I follow your podcast. A suggestion. Would you do an analysis on the combat system? Hearing you guys talk about it would be interesting, maybe focusing on the Unite attacks and the fact that there's a hard mode confirmed in the very first start of the game. Oh, okay. Thank you, David. So the combat system in this, I mean, it kind of stems from like what we've kind of gotten used to in terms of role-playing games. If Suikoden was not your first role-playing game that you ever played, but you played others, it kind of stems from like the turn-based system, right? Of waiting your turn, whether it's ATB system or just waiting basically, and then as the opponent, like the enemies attack, or you guys get ready for that. But the Unites was definitely the spotlight of the system there. I would think is just having 2 characters or 3 or 4 characters kind of attacking all at once with in terms of a sequence, and then trying to find those Unites when say GameFAQs wasn't around, or basically we were all getting to know the game at the same time. That was during 95, 96 in that time space. Just trying to find out all the secrets and then all the Unite combinations and that sort of thing. But another thing that I always mentioned that I fell in love with the combat system was with turn-based systems. One character attacks and then the next character attacks and then the next one. So it's like a wait your turn, then next person's turn. So in Suikoden, kind of when you do the free will, they almost attack almost at the same time. So it's almost like real time in a sense. It shows that illusion of real time, but it's still showing. But it's actually still
it made grinding actually doable.
Yes, it did. It did.
Grinding in any other game, whether it was Final Fantasy or Breath of Fire or whatever, was just horrendous.
Yeah, you go through the menus and you have to pick everything.
I guess Breath of Fire wasn't as bad with the auto battle system.
Oh yeah.
That being said, it was not like Suikoden. Suikoden, you're able to just kind of hit auto and just go, and all your characters attack, and it was fantastic like that.
Yeah.
So it made grinding a lot easier. Like you said, the Unites were a big point for me, a big selling point for me. As soon as I found that, I was like, wow, this is so cool.
Yeah.
For me, the biggest one was combining magic. That was sick.
Yeah.
You're combining, fire and earth and fire and water and all this crazy stuff. Of course, a lot of that came into Suikoden too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Suikoden 5 really took off with it. That was fantastic with Suikoden 5.
Oh, nice.
So that's definitely the battle system for me is just all the unites you can do. Whether it's magic, physical, it was awesome. It was awesome.
So
leveling your weapons, the way you level your weapons, incredible.
Yeah, like just you're not characters have their own weapon. Like you didn't go through you didn't go to a store. It's like, oh, I want to, I was using a bow, but next time I'll use like a sword, or next time I use like brass knuckles or that sort of thing, right? They all had their own weapon. Tyr had a bow. Rio had tonfa sticks. It was that sort of thing. Like that was their dedicated weapon. That was they were going to use. You just sharpened it better. Whether it's like basically
clarify people. He means bow staff, not bow and arrow.
Yeah, right. Bow staff. So you were making your weapon better. To hit harder. Adding like magical runes to it. For like a fire effect or water healing or that sort of thing as you attack. Just delving into that and you had a dedicated weapon, and I actually appreciated that. Because when you go through other games, they kind of not all of them. Other games also have people with dedicated weapons and that sort of thing. But other games that I've played, it was like, oh man, yeah, switch from this weapon to another weapon. It was like, okay, well, nobody's really proficient. You're just hitting harder and maybe either faster or slower depending on what the type of weapon it was. But it was also depending on their the type of combated weapon system that they had. But I appreciate Suikoden's a combat system and the care of like you only had one weapon and you're there to perfect it, or maybe not. Maybe you didn't use the character and they just hit like weak because you didn't take care of them. Like kind of like either their weapons are getting dull or you just not level them up, high enough, that sort of thing. But the hard mode. Did you hear something about a hard mode? When it comes to I don't know if it was like Suikoden 1
there's
or
a mod.
There's a mod. Okay.
For Suikoden games.
Okay.
Suikoden hard mode, and basically like the word is that there was supposed to be like a hard mode to Suikoden. Remember, they wanted to do a lot of stuff with Suikoden back in the day, but they couldn't just based on the disc size of the technology they were limited to at the time. But there is mods out there now where you can play Suikoden hard mode. Suikoden 2 hard mode is just ridiculous.
You tried it?
Yeah, I'm gonna stream it at some point.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, you can watch my frustration because trust me, it is not easy.
Okay.
Hence hard mode. Yeah, that's a pretty good question.
Cool. Yeah, thank you.
He actually had another good one too.
Yeah, he did. Do you have that up or?
Yeah, he was saying. I was thinking another suggestion. He was talking about offline PvP where you change your teams against and battle other party members. So what I can tell you is that's been done, and it's being done right now in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius.
Oh yeah,
and it's called Arena.
Okay.
Let me tell you, everybody hates it. It doesn't work out the way you want to. The first couple times you do it, you're like, this is kind of fun, and then after a while, like literally like the fourth time, you're like, I'm over this.
Yeah.
It gets dull. The idea's cool, but then when you actually put it into a practical sense, like Brave Exvius did with Arena, nobody likes Arena. Literally, like it's probably the least played content in that game.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, that's why I'm against that due to the fact that it's been done and it didn't work out.
Interesting.
It's a good idea though. It's just, I guess maybe it's just in how it's put together.
Yeah.
But it did not go well for Brave Exvius.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, like I like the idea of a PvP and like your party versus their party, but you need to regulate and balance out like the type of characters that people would have. Because if it's not balanced or not, like nobody's taking a look of what people are doing, then people are just going to use the broken characters and doing strategies that will give you like just high damage, and like they're not able to take their turns. You would actually need to police that pretty well to be able to do this sort of thing. And you kind of would think about it with like Pokemon, right? We all have our like, oh man, like I would just love to have this type of party of Pokemon basically, but yet there's going to be people that are out there is like just grabbing the most broken type characters and just having that as like their party group basically. So like you would need
Can you imagine going up against a party that had Hoi, Killy, and Sheena with double beat, Fury, and double strike?
Yeah,
You're dead before you can even press go.
Exactly.
Like, could you imagine? Everybody's gonna run that team.
And unites, and you
have those three just in your front line, and then your back line you got like Mazes just killing you with crazy magic, and you got Luke behind there too.
Exactly.
No thanks.
So like I would think at least a way to police that would be to make like have characters have ratio tiers, like using somebody like Uber or something. You like, oh, that's a ratio 3, so like, okay, if you have Uber, then you can either have less people, or you can have like people that have less of a ratio.
Brave Exvius does this type of thing.
Oh really? Okay.
And it still doesn't work.
Okay, wow.
People still don't like it, so it's like, they'll ban this character for this
you'd have
amount
to do
of time,
that.
and these abilities are banned, so like you could ban double strike and ban Fury for this amount of time, and then people are just like, I don't want to play that. So it's a cool concept. It just doesn't play out well.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's a
cool idea. I definitely would like to see like whose party versus whose party, and like what would you do, and that making decisions and all that stuff. That would be cool. But again, you would definitely need to police that hardcore, like it's almost like an active fighting game. Like Street Fighter Online, Mortal Kombat, like all these other games that you would need to police and balance that literally all the time, just so people cannot have like an unfair advantage of just trying to get wins and maybe points and maybe prizes and all this stuff. So David, thank you for the second question. Let me see. But Michael said that, what would you demand if you knew you were a star of destiny and the Tenkai star needed you for their happy ending? A private suite, a private suite with a private bath, a personal yacht, a harem. Like, what would be your recruitment requirements in order to recruit you as a part of a Stars of Destiny? And I'll add to that is, what would be your ending once the character got the good ending? So I'll throw it to you, Luca. What would be your requirements to enable to recruit you, and what would be your ending for this question?
So in this scenario, are you recruiting Luca Blight, or are you recruiting just a random character? That's important.
That is important. Try both. Like as Luca Blight and
as Luca Blight.
Okay.
You are required to kill 250 pigs.
There you go.
You're required to kill 250 pigs, and if you don't do it within 10 minutes.
Oh man, time? You gotta be a time-based mission? Oh jeez.
You gotta go and kill 250.
Oh man. You making that bar
if
high.
Not, you don't get Luca Blight because he's too broken.
Right.
As a regular character, again, because I'm an antag, I'm not a protag by nature. I will demand the death of whichever character in that game pisses me off the most.
Wow. Oh, and it's random. It's a random generated character that you either must be willing to sacrifice, or you don't get them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You gotta go kill Kenan. You gotta go kill Kryn.
Yeah. Okay. It cannot be. I would say.
Yeah. It can't be a Star of Destiny, of course.
It can't be another Star of Destiny, because that just.
So since we get into, you gotta travel back to the Terran Republic, kill Kryn, because I have space. So
he stole my money.
Yeah, he stole my money.
Oh man. Okay, that's cool. I like that.
He tried to drug me.
He tried to drug you for robber's tea.
Yeah.
When you were just trying to go up the mountain. Oh man. Okay.
No. Kryn was in. Kryn tried to drug you in La Poncetown.
Yeah, La Poncetown, and then
that was
Kessler?
That was somebody else.
Kessler?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that was Kessler.
Yeah. Okay. Leaden and yeah. Okay. Anyways, so all right, for me, I'm bar's not gonna be as high as time, time constraints and all this stuff. For me to recruit me, we basically would do I want to say a first to 10 duel battle. All right. first to 10 duel battle. We go back and forth. You know, you come back, you know, at different times. So, maybe space out like, oh, like you can't do like 10 fights in a row. Like you just come back throughout the story of the game. We do battle, and if you
have to beat you with a frying pan.
If you beat me with a frying pan, yeah, sure. You beat me with a frying pan, you get to recruit me. But we're going to have duel battles. First to 10 wins. Either I will. Okay. System-wise, I'll still join, but I'll take something from you, right? I'll take something from you. If you beat me fair and square, yeah, you're good. I'm good to join. I'm gonna follow you to the death and all that stuff. So yeah, first to 10.
Pay with a thunder rune if you go.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Pay with a thunder rune. And I'm not gonna be like what's his name, Quincy, where like, oh, I don't know who to join. Maybe if you have like 70 more characters, maybe I'll join because they look like the winning side. I hate that. I hate that about Quincy actually. That he's like, oh, I'm a fair weather of like I don't know who's gonna win. Maybe Scott.
I don't want that guy on my team.
I don't want that guy. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, first to 10 duel battles. If you beat me out, yeah, I'll join. If I win, I'll still join, but I'll take something from you. And my ending will be I will challenge every single Star of Destiny to duel, and the number will generate like how many duels I won or lost. But I will challenge every single person, Star of Destiny, in our castle, and random number generator of bouts I won, and then I'll move on to the next town, sort of thing. Almost Ryu like from Street Fighter, but yeah. That'll be my good ending.
I would end.
Yeah.
How I would end mine. As Luca Blight, you chase down Yuba and or Uber, what you want to call him, and we prove how overrated that guy is and slaughter him in front of everyone.
Okay.
I don't understand the love of Uber.
Oh, okay.
He got beat by a kid, his pet bird, and a duck.
Yeah.
He's not tough. He's a fake tough guy.
Oh man.
He tells me that
a
Chaos would suit him just fine. Next thing you know, he's going to be telling me that Billie Jean's not his lover because he's wearing Michael Jackson's outfit. He forgot the white glove.
And a doctor with a stone, and just threw stones at him, and like, what's the deal with Uber? Like
overrated. Oh, he blew up.
Overrated.
He blew up a town of the Hidden Rune.
Yeah.
He lit 3 wooden houses on fire. Congratulations, I did that too. Woohoo! He's not tough. He runs away all the time. At the end of Suikoden 1, that dude ran from Peshmerga after like 2 shots.
Yeah.
In Suikoden 2, he runs constantly because you beat his little pet skeleton.
Yeah.
And then he runs away before even fighting him at the end of 2. And he loses to a kid, his pet bird, and a duck in the 3rd one. The guy is overrated. So Luca Blight at the end would chase him down and prove in front of everybody who the real tough guy is. And it would not last long.
I would love to see a bout between Luca Blight and Yuba. I would love to see that. It wouldn't last long? Okay. It wouldn't last long? No. Okay. I see you.
Yuba would either run or die very quickly.
Be a very Mike Tyson. A very Mike Tyson fight.
Even with his Shurun, he ain't shit. He runs away from, and you know what? They can't even say, he ran from Ryo because he's got, a part of a true rune, or he ran from Turin because he has a true rune. Guess what? Hugo didn't have a true rune. He had a pet bird and a duck.
And S skills.
Yeah, I didn't need S skills.
Oh,
during the stream, we beat him up with B+.
Oh, nice.
And C.
Okay.
We kicked his ass.
Oh, okay.
We had the spoiled brat Lily come in and pop him on the head.
He
Lily.
Sucks. Oh, that's funny. That's hilarious.
There's your hot take for the episode. People.
There you go.
He was overrated. He looks cool. Talks a big game, but he's a wuss.
Oh man, that's the coward heel right there. That's the coward heel.
There you
go. All right, we got one more. From Nicholas. All right, so from Nicholas, I'll mention it here. So maybe it's my memory, but Wendy's arc is confusing. Her focus was getting the Soul Eater rune, but can't remember her intentions afterwards or her plan was. If she was in pursuit of power by collecting the true runes, Why did she never try taking Uber's or Necklord's true rune? Why were Leknot and Windy a feud? Being the last two survivors of the Gate Rune clan, you would think that survival would be the utmost importance. Lastly, if I'm not mistaken, Harmonia attacked the Gate Rune clan. What if Luke was sent on behalf of Harmonia to spy on Leknat?
Okay, I got answers for that.
Yeah,
that's a loaded question.
It is a loaded question.
I'm gonna cover Luke one really quick.
Okay.
Luke was rescued.
Rescued, right.
So I don't believe he was sent by Harmonia. Luke detests Harmonia. That's why he tries to blow it up.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ixnay on that one about him being a spy. He was rescued by Leknot and trained as a pupil. She knew the potential in Luke and was hoping that he would become a better person than who he was cloned from, which was Emperor Hikosak. Unfortunately, Luke decides to take a different path than what Leknot wants.
Right.
So there's that one. In terms of the relationship between Windy and Leknot, it is actually stated that Windy tries to kill Leknot at one point, where she had to isolate herself in that tower and protect herself from Windy. And the reason why was because she's trying to get the other half of the Gate Rune,
right,
for more power. Which of course she failed to do because Leknot is no slouch herself. So, in terms of why they weren't more friendly, that's on Windy. You know, Windy just craves power, and the reason why she craves power is because she was shown what true power is. Hikosak invaded that place to get the Gate Rune, and they actually split it in half between the two sisters to protect it.
Yeah.
From Hikosak himself. So that is her whole motivation, is to gain power. Revenge is her idea, right? She wants to get back at those who wronged her, those who destroyed her home. So that's why she's trying to get the Soul Eater, because the Soul Eater is a very powerful rune. It governs life and death, right? What stronger rune than that, other than the Sun Rune, which she wouldn't have been able to get. Why she doesn't try to take Yuba and Necklord's rune? Okay, so in terms of Yuba, or Uber, whichever you want to call him, his true rune might be the weakest of the true runes that we've seen. Right? Like, you see it demonstrated in Suikoden 3 a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not overly powerful, right? It seems very limited. He uses it supposedly against us in Suikoden 1, but Pesmerga sees through it during the formation. That's why it doesn't work on us. So, in terms of that, she probably sees Uber as a better ally, as he's able to teleport in, he's able to summon monsters, so he's more useful as an ally. That and his rune probably wouldn't tip the scales, and her rune, half of her rune, the Gate Rune, is actually still stronger than his. In terms of Necklord, I don't think she can. I don't think she could defeat Necklord, to be honest. Like, think about what it takes to beat Necklord.
That's true. Yeah.
Right? Like, you need the Star Dragon Sword just to harm him. You need Khan to seal his soul. Yeah. And you need Sierra, the elder of his clan, to take the Moon Rune from him just to beat him. And he can doppelgang himself. He can raise an army of the dead. So she could, like, summon monsters all she wants. All he has to do is kill more people.
And then he has more soldiers.
Armies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he has an endless supply of soldiers. I don't think she wants to make an enemy of Necklord.
That's true.
Because he's literally too strong. Right? He might be the strong... And honestly, like, if we look throughout of it, there's a couple exceptions there. Luke's Wind Rune at the end is probably the strongest that we face. Maybe the Sun Rune in Incarnation, or the Beast Rune Incarnation. Yeah. Something along those lines. But in terms of an actual person that we fight, Necklord might be the strongest. If you go through,
that's true. I can see that. Yeah.
1 through 5. I don't think we can name a single person, including Luca Blight, that could beat Necklord in a one-on-one fight.
Yeah.
So I think Necklord is a very useful ally. I don't know what his gain is by helping Windy. Maybe he just gains more power.
More wives.
More wives. I don't know what his thing is of why he's allied with her. Maybe it just serves his desires. Like you said, more wives. He gets his own little land. Section. Part of the Emperor, part of the Empire. Maybe that's what it is. But in terms of taking the rune from Necklord, good luck.
Yeah.
So I think that pretty much solves that entire question, right?
Yeah, I think so. Let me see. Pretty much, yeah. yeah, just with having Yuba and Necklord with you, it only helps Wendy's mission, even though she didn't like really succeed. But Wendy, there's something going off on Wendy where she was trying to kill her own sister to be able to have this type of revenge, when they're supposed to protect it. And like, why not like have a discussion and talk about how we're both gonna get revenge rather than like take, the life of your own sister and trying to gain, the other half of the rune that way. Like,
Wendy's short-sighted.
Yeah, she wanted to do it all, basically, or all herself, basically, and
she wanted the quick way. I actually have a theory about like not and why she's doing what she's doing, but that's going to be an entire episode on its own, I believe. Wendy just wanted to fast track things.
Okay.
And had she played her cards right, a little bit better, she did have control of the second strongest kingdom or empire in all of land, and she goofed it.
Yeah.
So she's short-sighted is the issue with Wendy.
Yeah.
Very, very good villain, but short-sighted is the whole thing of her.
Very much. But yeah, thank you, Nicholas, for that question. So, I believe we are going to move on to. We do this from time to time. We're spotlighting creators, who are doing Suikoden or Eiyuden type content. But yeah, we're just gonna shout out some names and mention like places that where we kind of had these discussions of Suikoden and Eiyuden Chronicle. Let's call you Necklord. Luca, you want to go ahead and start off with the first shout out?
Yeah, I'll start off with Christoph here. When you would mention it, I'll use that as a start point here. Yep. He did say maybe talk about some Suikoden fan games. He talked about himself there. He's got really just Suikoden 2. That's pretty cool. The other one is Cooley BK18 has done a remake of Suikoden 2 using RPG Maker, and
nice.
It looks incredible. It looks awesome. He hasn't finished it, but so there answers that question and segues into the Suikoden content creators. The first one on my list is Jared Dubb. He's both on YouTube and on Twitch. He's a first-time Suikoden player. He has a really fun community. They love playing with the characters and getting to know them and jumping in between with voices and that kind of stuff.
Cool.
And having all sorts of fun.
Yeah.
So he's having a lot of fun with that. So if you want to see someone's first experience, and he's also a very good role player kind of person. He's really good at interacting with his crowd. So he's really, really fun. Lauren the Flute, she's very interesting. She's actually a musician, of course, with her flute. She plays through the Suikoden series all the time. She's over on Twitch.
Nice.
She's actually a larger streamer. She's quite big. And she actually has a great story about how she went to Japan and it involves Suikoden. So I encourage all of you to go over to her channel, check out her channel, and ask about that story. It's a fantastic story, and the way she tells it is just awesome. I couldn't do it justice.
Awesome.
So Drew Feist is the next one. This guy is awesome. He and his significant other sit down, and as they play Suikoden, they make it a drinking game.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So they are very familiar with Suikoden, big-time fans. And anytime they recruit a character or, they get some sort of certain sound alert during the game, they take a drink.
Take a shot.
So
nice.
The game gets harder and harder for them as they go along because they start to get more and more intoxicated. Yeah. So they are very, very fun over on Twitch.
Nice.
If you could go see them, that'd be great.
That's cool.
Captain Kappa, he's a smaller streamer, but he loves Suikoden. He even gives loves to the games that don't get as much love, like Suikoden 4 and Tactics and 3. So, and he's a type of guy that likes to interact with the community a lot, and he wants to make Suikoden as big as possible. He's got those big dreams, so I'd love people to go over and see Captain Kappa over on Twitch. And the last two are actually kind of part of a little community that I've developed with them. It's kind of like a three-way community between myself, Jay Legend, and Sacrificial Gizmo. The three of us have kind of started to, kind of take our own little communities and merge them together about Suikoden, and we have a lot of fun.
Nice.
So Jay Legend has a lot of fun sound effects. He's really entertaining. He's, he can sing. Get him to sing some songs. That's kind of fun. And he's just a really great guy. Really fun to be around. And then you have Sacrificial Gizmo. Now this guy might be the most unique And the reason why is because he'll literally play 2 games at the same time.
What?
And it'll be the English version of Suikoden and the Japanese. He'll play them side by side and translate the differences, what is going on.
Wow, okay.
So there, you know how a lot of people say, oh, you know, this part, you know, the translation didn't make sense. Sacrificial Gizmo will make it make sense for you. These guys are both on Twitch, by the way.
Okay.
So if you go over to Gizmo's channel, you can watch even the games that are only Japanese. He'll put that on screen and translate it for you line by line and go through the game with you.
That's
so
nuts.
You get that experience, that live experience of translating the Japanese game. The guy is fantastic. Really nice guy to be around. So if you could jump over to Twitch, see those guys, they're fantastic. That's
cool. All right, yeah, thank you for sharing those creators that are out there right now doing Suikoden content like they are doing. And that sounds pretty cool. So we'll definitely have links to their you know, their stuff that where you can find these people on the description below. So for me, it's not so much of content creators. It's basically places that you can go to have like a Suikoden type discussion or Eiyuden Chronicle type discussion. Let me see. Let me take a look. Yeah, we mentioned about Christoph in the beginning. So some of the places that we go to, I'm gonna go from Facebook groups first. There is a big Suikoden group called Suikoden, basically, and that's a huge group of just fans that are out there, just of course, just talking about Suikoden. Another one that is out there right now is called Suikoden Club. So that is that's one of the second biggest as of right now. I want to say Suikoden is the biggest, but Suikoden Club is the next one on there that you should definitely join up and just have a discussion with, and you know, just trying to, you know, talk about the Suikoden and Eiyuden Chronicle. So you definitely have those 2 groups on Facebook. Reddit, Suikoden, basically. There's a community over at Reddit that we share the podcast with. You know, so there's some people that are out there listening and watching. So shout outs to you guys over on the Suikoden Reddit there. Anywhere else? So like, I'm thinking of Discord. So there's a bunch on Discord. Let me go ahead and pull that up because yeah, we're in some of them. So Luca Blight, of course, I'll mention his Discord, has a Suikoden channel over there. Let me see. There is Suikoden Tavern, I believe. That's another Discord channel that is, you know, talking about everything Suikoden. So shout outs to Suikoden Tavern. Let's see, another place, 2 Scoundrels. So we shouted them out on the last channel, like, you know, creator shout out. So shout out to you guys once again, having a Suikoden channel and, you know, continuing to just do their thing as content creators, trying to make their way, trying to build up their community there. Yeah, I mentioned Suikoden Tavern. There is Scarlet Moon Empire. That's another Discord that is out there doing the same things. You know, sharing artwork with each other, doing, you know, sharing memes and all that stuff, general discussion as well, talking about all the games, you know, having their own channels and that sort of thing. Trying to see if there's anywhere else. I think that is it. I think that are all the Discords. So yeah, Facebook, it's Suikoden Club, Suikoden Reddit, let's see, Suikoden Tavern, Scarlet Moon Empire, Luca Blight's Discord. Give me my Discord too. I'd be down to talk about Suikoden as well. I mean, it's 2 Scoundrels as well on Discord talking about Suikoden. So there's a lot of places that you can talk Eiyuden Chronicle, Suikoden, that sort of thing. And we know, me and Luca, we try to be it everywhere as much as possible while we're trying to do our own thing as well. You know, in terms of content creation and streaming and all that stuff. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Excuse me. I think that's pretty much it for the episode, guys. Oh man, so thank you so much for all the comments, the questions, the topics, all the feedback. I love to hear that you guys are, you know, listening and watching the podcast. That really appreciate you guys to be able to do that. We'd love to hear more from you. So every time that we're going to be recording an episode, I'm going to chime in, you know, on all the groups and Discords and all that, saying like, you know, hey, what do you guys want us to talk about? But we do have some topics coming up for future episodes. But I will continue to ask you guys what do you guys want us to talk about? We'll be down to talk about it. Anybody that needs to be showcased, in terms of content creation, that sort of thing, topics, all that stuff, we would love to like dive in and discuss that sort of thing. So thank you guys very much for hanging out with us for this podcast episode. Luca, where can they find you, and what are you doing as a recent in terms of creating your content?
Mostly on Twitch is where you're going to find me at this point. And recently we've been doing a lot of Suikoden 3, taking our time with it, really exploring the game. So you can definitely find me over on Twitch like usual. There is a YouTube channel, but as of right now, I definitely would suggest Twitch instead.
Twitch? Okay, cool. All right, so that's King Luca Blight over at Twitch. For me, it's going to be at Marco Polo 177 is basically my main Twitter account. But for the Stars of Destiny podcast, we have a Facebook page as well as a Twitter handle. It's for the Twitter handle, it's at Star Destiny Pod, and for the Facebook page, it's Stars of Destiny Podcast. But if you're listening to the podcast, you can find us everywhere there. Video wise, you can find it at Nerd in the Bay YouTube channel. That's where we put the podcast on there on the video end. But I think that's pretty much it for everything that's going on. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out, listening, watching the podcast. I did talk about this with Luca, but I think we're gonna start doing or throw out some live episodes that are out there, so we can talk in real time and all that stuff. So we're gonna plan all that out, whether it's making the topics or just trying to basically promote hey, we're gonna go live, so come hang out with us and let's talk Suikoden and all that stuff. So we're gonna try to see what live does for this format. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time for the next episode of the Stars of Destiny podcast. Until then, stay safe and take care. Bye, guys.
See you later.